What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and today on Dice and Dragons, we are back. It's been a little while. We've had a few games that caught the radar, but we didn't really want to talk about them. But this one, after doing a Riddy, I don't think any one of us wanted to let the chance to talk about this go by. So today we are talking about Agemonia, and I'm going to probably butcher the name of the publisher. And I know that I think Rob actually has a game by them. So I'm going to toss it over to Rob, and I'll let him.
I believe it's Lautapelit.
Ooh, very well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best attempt.
Now
that's as good as I can do. Lautapelit.
Yeah. So we were talking about Agemonia by Lautapelit on the latest episode of Kickstarter Excess for Value. Just want to thank again my special guests for joining me and making this show and this episode possible. So now I'm going to be quiet for a little bit and I will let them introduce themselves, and you will be able to find all of their awesome content down below in the video description. So take it away. Go ahead, Ryan. You usually take it away first.
Sure. And I've got my little banner at the bottom of my screen, so I already got all of my little socials.
It's so fancy.
Ryan from the Card Board Conjecture Podcast and Bridge City Board Gamers here in Saskatoon. Thanks for having me on again for this. I always have a blast. You can always find us on Twitter and Instagram at BC Board Gamers, and YouTube, Bridge City Board Gamers. We got a bunch of new stuff on there. Lots of live stream stuff with Rob from Meeple Dungeon there. We've been streaming Ashes Reborn, and just this past Wednesday we did Flesh and Blood, the card game, which was a really fun experience. And we also have a Facebook group. You can just look us up, Bridge City Board Gamers.
Awesome.
And I'm Rob.
Anna Marie.
And we are the Meeple Dungeon, and you can find us on Twitter and YouTube under the Meeple Dungeon. And we have a Meeple Dungeon podcast that you can find pretty much everywhere now. And we've got 5 episodes, a 6th one coming in a few days. And I guest on the Cardboard Conjecture.
What you
been playing Wednesdays and our Wednesday night card games with Ryan. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. So we will let the Pledge Master take it away. We're going to try something new. We're going to share our screen now that you, for those of you that are fans of this series, you've seen our faces up close long enough. So we're going to try to do some stuff that will bring the pledges more into focus and save me some editing, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And plus I have to hide my 5 o'clock shadow that I've got going on here. So, okay, I'll bring this up. Where is it? Right here. Hopefully it comes up there.
Hey.
There it looks. Agemonia. This thing looks beautiful. Everything about this looks beautiful. Everything you need to play. Only €99. Right there, right on the very front screen. 1 to 4 players, 60 to 120 minutes, ages 10 plus. And if I just scroll, do you just want me to scroll over here, Jason?
Yeah, go ahead. So you can see all the details for the core box there.
Yeah, so Agemonia core box, 1 copy, everything you need to play, plus all unlocked stretch goals. Core box is the basic edition, does not include miniatures. They had to capitalize that. Does not include miniatures. All other figurines are standees. Shipping tax is not included. €99. You can see there, about 150 Canadian. So that's the core box. And then the next one after that, we got core box and miniatures.
So why don't we scroll down on the big page just so we can show off
that. Sorry if this is scrolling. I really wish this was game found. Oh, there we go. There's the game. There's the core game.
Yep.
So you can see we got the 6 hero miniatures. So everything else is what you'll be getting that second pledge when you go to the core game plus minis, which I think it's the next level down there.
The next one down. So there's the standees.
Yeah, and there it is right under there.
And
a large
pledge. Get the game and minis for only €149, and there they are. all game
It's quite a
content.
few. Yeah.
Monster minis. So are the minis only the monsters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're only
A
the
little
monsters.
like I haven't played Gloomhaven yet. It's on the shelf. You can see it that background, but I believe it's like Gloomhaven. You have standees for monsters and miniatures for heroes.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so there you can see 5 boss minis. I believe those are those red guys.
Yep.
In the background there. And then we got 84 minion minis.
Minion minis.
Minion minis. They went for the alliteration. Okay. And then it looks like over on the side here, they added it an all-in pledge for €200 core game, minis, and add-ons. And well, there's the scale of the minis. We can, if people can see that.
Pretty mean looking boss guy there. Like
This guy right
Yeah.
there, the kind of like the demon,
and the big
the big
lumpy guy
robot
there.
clunker.
Yeah. Looks cool.
I'm not sure what that is. I can't figure it out. But
Oh.
there is like a rock person, so maybe it's some
Yeah, like a
Like
A
some sort of golem.
yeah.
I'm just trying to find, I have to go past all this stuff to find out what those add-ons were. Got to go all the way through,
Yeah, they're
all
a bit
shapes
more.
and sizes. Just like my wardrobe.
Yeah,
Okay, this is
we
one
are
of the
Canadian.
things.
We kind of hibernate in the winter, right?
that's right.
Right. Okay, there's one of the add-ons, the Agemonia Origins storybook. That looks
That's
pretty
pretty cool. Yeah.
I always like getting a
And-
little more for games.
110 metal coins with different
Wow.
colors and tints.
They do look nice.
They look nice. Yeah.
I really hope
Ooh.
that they can pull off this distinction of
Yeah.
the tints,
Hmm.
because usually it's really hard on metal, but maybe they can make it happen.
And
Dice.
Red Rising is a good example of that. If anyone has the game, whereas the plastic components, the colors look a lot more distinct than the metal ones.
Yeah, when
Right.
you're dealing with plastic, you can get the vibrant colors to distinct from one another. They had the same thing in Vindication from Orange Nebula. Their metal tokens, the greens and the blues and the purples, very similar in colors on their metal things. So if they can actually make it this distinct, I would be very impressed.
That picture may or may not be enhanced for
Right.
our viewing pleasure.
This is
Extra dice.
Kickstarter Excess or value for anyone that is watching us for the first time. So we do try to point out some of those marketing tricks there.
Oh yeah.
We're getting more and more clever in spotting these things now.
Right? €5, get 5 red D6 and 3 blue D6 for your extra dice pack. That seems
€5 for how many?
8 dice, 8 D6.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're custom dice, so unless you can figure out a way to sublimate
Yeah.
your own D6, you're kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, they have
Mhm.
all these different symbols on them, it looks like. And then
Yeah.
full game card sleeve coverage. 1,100 card sleeves for €35. We got the 500 small, 500 tarot, and 100 standard.
Extra.
Bless you, Jason.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah. Had something caught in your throat there.
Yeah. Mhm.
little bit of
I don't
caught in
ever
your
understand the card sleeve add-on, but people
I
go
love
for
my
it.
sleeves, and I'll be honest, with some games, I have to get the sleeves. I did get the sleeves for Madara because of just the thickness of the player boards and the fact that they're literally custom, like you cannot get them anywhere else. And that game was just so expensive that the sleeves at that point make sense to me. And with a deck builder, like, legendary, something you're shuffling all the time, you can get some good value out of the sleeves. But
Right.
as I agree with you, Ryan, I don't see the value, especially because from what I've seen of this game, are you shuffling it?
Well, right. And like I
Yeah.
have a soft spot if the sleeve pack has, game art on it, like the
Yeah.
oath like the Oath card sleeves were very nice. They've definitely had a card sleeve for the different types of cards you had in the game. I don't know, but if you just get just these clear plastic ones,
Yeah.
But can you also get Sundrop for your minis to give it a little bit of a shadow? Only for €10 for the core game, but if you get all the minis, €50 to Sundrop that.
Yeesh.
Oh my goodness.
I got
Something's going around here.
I just want to remind everyone that the core game has, I think, like 5 or 6 minis only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not very many.
But it does say only €50. That makes us think that that's relatively well priced, correct?
If you compare it to Awakened Realms, it is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like there is some definitely, it's marketing, but they're at Awakened Realms stuff because I don't even know how much that is on Sundrop. I think I looked at the Sundrop pledge for ISS Vanguard and fell out of my chair and clicked that off.
Yeah. If they can pull off as good of a Sundrop as Awakened Realms, then this would probably be a really good deal. The Sundrop on Awakened, I have the Sundrop on Tainted Grail, and it's amazing. It's it does bring out the detail.
It really does
nicely.
We've got good at doing it here. So I think just, we use the washes ourselves, and with a relatively cheap wash, we can do a lot of minis with one jar.
Yeah.
And as long as you got the time to do it.
And especially if you're just doing the wash on the plain mesa, even if you're not painting them and then washing them, just doing the wash gives you that kind of shadow and definition as well. So it could be a way to cut down on the Sundrop cost.
We've found it just doing it in-house just seems to be the way to go if you have the time to do it.
Yeah, so then there it is. There's the all-in pledge, €200, only €200. Which, if you're looking on the screen, that's 300 Canadian.
Yeah.
Before shipping.
I was gonna wait and say that's the kicker here.
Yeah.
Well, one of
this. And sorry, this all-in pledge does not include the Sundrop wash.
Oh, so it's not all in.
Not quite. If you want all in, €200 plus your €50, you're looking at €250 if you want the Sundrop.
Like
$330.
$370.
Yeah, you're getting close to that. Yeah, $400 mark. You're getting into Awakened Realms type territory. For the game, and then you got to ask yourself the questions: are you getting as much content as you got in, let's say, an Awakened Realms game? Yeah. I spent a lot on Tainted Grail, and I think it was close to that, but I'm like, I think I got a lot. There seems to be a lot more story in that, but that being said, I do love a lot of what I've seen here. From this game.
Yeah.
I'm getting a very Gloomhaven-y vibe here, and when I think of Gloomhaven being between $150 and $200, that's kind of where I see this game sitting at the maximum at the moment. But
I think we've now broken down all the pledge levels. We got a little bit of some spoilers for our discussions about sleeves and Sundrop, but it's a lot of fun. So why don't we scroll back up to the top here and let's start talking. Actually, you know what? I think right around there is good, Ryan.
Right here. Components.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about, just our experience sort of with the game and the campaign. I actually kind of went a lot deeper on this one than I have on other ones because it just kind of started to pique my interest. Mm-hmm. And I was watching the Man versus Meeple, the one round. And the moment I saw how your characters will work, like moving across the board, the fact that you can see things, and then if you can get there, you can interact on a turn, that got me really interested in this so much so that I got Julie to take a look at it with me, and she found it intriguing. I also asked her, I go, hey, it's cheaper without the minis. She's like, what did I tell you about getting games without minis? I was like, I got the message.
Nice.
So
I haven't explored a lot into it just yet. I'm going to use this session and I'm going to let you guys really drip it on me.
From what we've seen on our end, it is very Gloomhaven-y. It's a 1 to 4 co-op, correct? I think.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And they're implementing that that board using the book as the board, right? So you're flipping the pages so that you don't have to put together a big elaborate map every time you're doing this. You just flip to the page that you want to use, and away you go. So I'm liking the sound of how quick and easy this probably would be to set up and go every time. Table
presence from the videos I've seen is very minimalistic compared to like Descent, which is like,
oh yes, the polar opposite of a Descent, but it's going to capture a similar kind of Gloomhaven type level scenario with way less upkeep and setup and things like that, which I believe they did in Jaws of the Lion.
I think
there it is. The scenario book is the game board.
So colorful, so vibrant.
Yeah. If you look at that one there with the blues and reds and purples, it looks like what's that? Pandora or whatever, right? Like it just looks like they're really bringing their A game with the artwork there.
And what I really thought was interesting is that the first scenario that I saw from the Man vs. Meeple playthrough, there's like no combat. It's like a purely like experience-driven scenario. Like you're just used to moving around the board and doing like, your tasks and objectives. And I really like the way that everything worked. Got to see combat, and combat seems really straightforward. As much as I liked what we saw in Iridia, and it's still like on my, on the list of games I want to check out and could potentially pledge. When I saw combat in this and just the way the story and you interact with things on the board, I was like, man, I'm kind of feeling this just a little bit more because I like that more simplified combat. Maybe it's because I've been playing a lot of Descent and I just go click, 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 and then everything happens. But
yep.
Yeah. And over 25 scenario maps. So I'm going to assume that those maps are inside the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume.
There's 2 books that you get.
Okay. Yeah. And then it says unlock new areas. And this looks like kind of like a tile that might like slide over slide beside or something like that. The scenario book. That's very cool. That could be very.
So what'll happen, Ryan, so if you haven't seen the video, is that essentially there'll be a spot on the map and it'll tell you what distance you can see what's happening. So once your character gets near and is within that distance, you'll have the card. So the card will show up. You'll move to the card. You will then, once you arrive at the card, you will then be able to take an act. It's not even an action. You just get to try the challenge that's there. And potentially, if it's on the back of it, it'll tell you to flip it if you succeed, or what'll happen if you fail. And you can eventually flip it over, and then a new area will be added to the map to modify the board. Or it could just be a story point, and you don't have to interact with all of them if you don't want to. So it's just like you running through the world and seeing all the different things going on.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that concept.
I also like how there's like puzzly aspects in it too. Like some of the boards seem to be puzzly, like solving things. Just how it's not just wherein you draw the comparison to Gloomhaven, where you're just going through and every scenario is a scenario. You're going here to here, figuring out where you have to go. Right? There's like actual things you have to figure out in like on the map. I remember seeing a sideboard with like glyphs and things where you're spinning things around and you're kind of unlocking more and more information that's leading you down some sort of path.
Apologize for the quick fade to black. My power bar decided to play a trick on me and it's lit up. It's supposed to be working, but apparently not the plug that I decided to choose. So Rob got cut off. We're going to pick up just about where we left off. You'll notice that we've sort of shuffled the deck over here as well, where with Ryan taking the top position. I guess he's in the lead for most money spent on Kickstarter this year. I'm still in second place. Is that what it is?
I actually didn't even notice that.
All right, so I'll let Rob take it away with his explanation about where the board is leading on these cards.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was cool. From what I saw, it was on one of I think it's a side board or something, or a side something where I think you're picking up clues as you're moving through scenarios in this game, and you're using those clues and putting them onto that board, and you're trying to decipher this glyph, like Assassin's Creed style, kind of like decipher what's going on, and it's leading you to different scenarios and leading you down different pathways, and then I think ultimately to different endings of this game, depending on what you can figure out and what you don't figure out, what you miss and don't miss. So I think there's a lot of underlying cool, neat things here that you'll discover along the way.
Yeah, so that leads us. There's the section here. It says rich storytelling, countless adventures await. That's a lot.
Excess. It's typical marketing. I'm not going to get mad at them for that, but I don't think it's quite countless, but I'm sure
yeah, well, there can only be so many permutations when you have around 400 story cards. I'm just going to assume.
Well, we can roll with it. We can roll with the countless scenarios.
Experience a fantastical journey with the unique storybooks and scenario stories.
Yeah. So the city book, I think where you see like that board and some of the stuff that Rob was talking about, just as you're building out the story and the different interactions, and there's a storybook as well. So it's like it's those books that come into play there.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody does get this origins book, that if this content would incorporate into, that would be a really neat add-on, kind of like some hidden Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Inside of this storybook that can incorporate into the gameplay.
Don't tell me that, Ryan. I don't want to have to buy this book.
I love when games do that though. Like, so I'm in the process, I haven't quite finished them, but I've been reading the Descent Journeys in the Dark books, and they actually both tie into Legends of the Dark. So we're at the point in Descent where you go to Fallowhearth, and the book I'm reading is all about Fallowhearth. So you learn about Bryn's cousin. So like what happened to her and what happened in Fallowhearth. And the other book that I've yet to start is actually the main villain is Nick Kroll, who's the villain that you encounter in the tutorial, first scenario for Journeys in the Dark. So I just love when you can have like an expanded world of these narrative adventures, and you get to go on adventures with these characters maybe before or after the scenario that you take them through.
Yeah, and that's just that level of immersion. Like if you're going to be paying this amount of money, you're going to want to invest time into this world and get to know your character. Your character becomes you, and you become the character.
Very much so.
All of that stuff. So yeah, you definitely want to, if you want to get your money's worth out of things like that, definitely I like that level of immersion.
And I think
absolutely.
The only thing to talk about really is when it comes to like combat and just like the way the story cards interact. There will be things that happen that change the board. If you want a good example of it, since we're evaluating the Kickstarter campaign, check out the second scenario that Man vs. Meeple does, because there are quite a few things that actually do change the game state on that one. But other than that, I think we've talked about the gameplay. Your rolling dice, which I think is fairly straightforward. The stamina is a pretty cool thing that you can use to convert to success and heal. That's that stack of chips that you have. So you have 2 stacks. You use them for stamina, or they become wounds, and you can heal it both with the same action, which I think is pretty cool. So a lot of really interesting ideas. And a lot of simplification too. Like it's just really interesting after seeing like Iridia, where I think there was a lot of cool stuff to do that it really tries to take the video game to the tabletop. This seems to do the exact opposite, where it's, trying to make a Gloomhaven-esque or, a heavy campaign scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
But with like the smallest presence possible. And there's even the app that is the free companion app that just has like, tracking and things like that, which I think is pretty cool.
It's right here.
It's tracking, but not like as opposed to Descent, right? Where it's kind of like
where it's like half the game.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, I like that it's just a
optional, not required.
Yeah.
Incredible. We'll supply your party with voiceovers, scenario introductions and conclusions, city location, maps, tracking enemy HP, scenario story points, achievements, immersive scenario soundscapes.
Oh, cool. All right.
As well as helpful reference sheets, shopwares, and profession information. Click here to check it out if you want to. You can already download the app right here.
That's pretty cool.
And
that's
check
neat.
it out ahead of time.
I might just do that.
Yeah, but it's like I like that. It's not, you don't need it.
Yeah.
You can still have like your pen and paper looks like sheets that you can fill in and fill out and stuff like that. But if you want, you can have this app.
I like it. I until this moment didn't realize there was a companion app. So nope, I didn't know. So that's awesome.
So I think we've broken down the game. Why don't we start talking about, the excess and the value for these pledges, what we see. And let's start with that, the core box pledge. And if you want to scroll up, I think, I think there's actually no point in talking about the core box pledge and the miniatures in the core box pledge separately. I think they're kind of one and the same thing.
Yeah. So
I think they're exactly the same, just replacing standees with minis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I still haven't, I don't know if that's something that I want to do actually in terms of that, but let's talk about the core box. So far looking at like value, I think €99 is the perfect price for this game, for everything that you're getting. There are comparables on the market at this price. Could it maybe be a little cheaper because of it's all standees? Maybe, but there's a ton of story cards. We haven't seen the final quality, but I know that the publisher's known for putting out, quality products. So I don't think we're going to be seeing them cheaping out on anything. There's dual layer player boards, which looked really awesome watching the way your skills slot in and the way you can do things like that. You're getting a lot of storybooks. So I'm really happy with the core gameplay. I don't really see any excess. It seems perfectly market priced.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I fully agree with you. When I was actually kind of shocked, I thought this was going to be a bit more expensive for the core pledge. So just because of times like with COVID and whatever, and just inflated everything, I thought this would be more. So to see it under €100, technically,
another marketing.
No, but it is. It is.
I know.
Because I figured
call it what it is. Because I liked your point, Anna Marie. Because we were talking about marketing, we were really hitting on what was it, Drunagorf with the MSRP, because it was just so ridiculous. The gap. Like I actually believe this MSRP, like 129. Like
it's not a huge gap.
That feels like a fair price.
Yeah. So, but for 99, which is what, 140 something dollars. I feel that's great. I feel that's really great. That's on par with a Gloomhaven, right? So,
feels like we're getting a discount by being Kickstarter backers because, as you're saying, Rob, COVID, shipping, everything that's going on. That 129 feels like what the new price for Gloomhaven would be, like if it was just shipped over on a boat like today,
right? Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like this. Yeah, I think that this is as good as you're ever going to get for a game of this type. In this day and age. So I can't fault it on anything at that point.
I think that's what made me want to talk about this is when I saw that core pledge and everything. I was like, wow, we're like actually having a proper Kickstarter without a lot of the fluff.
Yeah.
I will go on conjecture and say these guys did their homework.
Yeah. They did.
These guys did their homework. I think it was probably well researched for this style of game and what we can offer. This is the price that we can comfortably set it at and, be successful.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And draw people like us in, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Again, conjecture.
The Finns know what they're doing, eh? Like they've got everything figured out over there. I know just everything about this pledge level, like they've easily got me getting at least that pledge, like hands down. Like now we just got to decide which pledge, but like these guys with that, starting with a pledge like that, I play games all the time that are more expensive than that, and this one just seems to be really good for a really good price. So I don't see a reason why I wouldn't pledge this instantly, And
like these standees aren't horrible. If these
they're better than Gloomhaven.
If these renders come out this vibrant, hey,
you can see them on the prototype and they are that vibrant, which
there we go.
To talk about the miniature pack, because I know Julie said, like, I love my minis, but
I don't know if it's worth it.
These aren't the most detailed minis I've ever seen. Like even the hero miniatures in the game, I almost wonder if they wouldn't have just been better off saying, forget the minis, let's have to sell just acrylic standees across the board. I think if they went acrylic standees across the board, it would have just looked amazing.
Did I go by?
Yeah.
I can go up here. Oh, nope. The heroes are farther down.
I think it's down there.
Yeah. When I look are down, there we go.
Yeah. When
I look at those minis and I look at the standees and I think back of the 140 hours that we played of Gloomhaven, I don't see a reason for it. I found myself being fully enveloped in Gloomhaven with my little character that was me, that's me. And that character was her. And we knew that going through it, and every baddie was a standee, and that was acceptable. It seemed to work fine. I never got disconnected. I know I've said like this might be, contradicting myself a bit in certain ways, but this is over a campaign, right? And when you move through so many hours of it, you kind of start to see the standees as more than standees, I guess, through it. So you start to take them a little bit more seriously.
Know their weight, like how,
like you start to connect, like, because on certain games, like if this was a one and done, right, we're going to play this for 2 hours and I'm standee or I'm a minion versus standees, I would have a bit of a disconnect. But over the course of this game, just knowing that we're going to play, well, it was 30 scenarios and it's an hour or two per scenario. So we're talking 30 or 60 hours. It worked for Gloomhaven, so I have no reason to think it won't work for this. And the standees that I just saw there look better than they do in Gloomhaven, where the actual shape of the creature is cut out. That's not in Gloomhaven. Everything's just a big blob, little half moon thing in Gloomhaven. So these would even come more to life than they do in Gloomhaven. So if it worked for Gloomhaven, I think it'll work for this easily.
I got nothing else to add. I really think that you don't necessarily need the miniatures. One thing I do want to say is that the miniatures are planned to be available in retail. They do list the price at, I believe, €69 for just the miniature box. So you are getting a discount if you wanted to get it during the Kickstarter. So full credit on that. I just don't know if it's something that's needed.
For me, I think that even if I was inclined to get them, where I'm not feeling it so much in this one, but even if I was, what would dissuade me right now would be the added shipping that would come with the minis. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just adding €50 onto the game, it's adding quite a bit more onto the shipping.
You're absolutely right.
And so that's where I was looking at the game versus, like, they're just the base one versus this. versus add-ons, and we'll get to those later, but and then what they all cost with shipping. And so it was kind of like, ooh, if I'm getting all of that, like it's so much that and not that, and you know, you can't help it right now, like with the way costs are, but it just, that kind of sways me in one direction or another as well. When I do feel that I'm not sold that I need the minis on this one.
Well, there you go. It looks like it's going up by about $15 Canadian, right? What is that? €8?
Or, yeah, if you're just getting the core game to Canada, €34. Core game and minis, add on another, what is that? €6, €7, €8. And then if you want all in, it's €46. So
yeah.
So it doesn't seem like much, but when you take the exchange from the just the game itself plus this, it all adds up when you put them all together.
Mm-hmm.
As you're saying, is I saw them playing it without the minis, and maybe it's just because I've seen it. I know it looks good. It just, I don't know if I actually need a lot of the minis or add-ons. Now, I'm leaning towards, like, if they were charging retail price for the minis, I would call it excess. Yeah. But as they are discounting it, it's essentially another, €50, 84 minis. You're looking about $1.50. Like, it's a great market price. It's great value if you want it. I guess I'm spoiled also with all the miniatures games and all the detailed minis. These ones aren't detailed enough for me to have me wanting to put them out there over the standee. I mean, like, look at the detail on the character with the blades. It looks so much cooler than their miniature, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wasn't. I was going to mention too, I don't think that it's excess in their price. I think it's just a matter of if you want them or not. Like, if you want them, I don't think it's excess, because you're getting like 89 minis, 5 big ones, 84 little ones. It's not like, so I think, like you said, with the price per mini, that's not excess. That's decent. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, if you need them or want them.
Yeah. I'm just, usually I would be so pro mini, but just because of my experience with Gloomhaven, and I can't think about anything other than that. It's just that I know I was fully immersed in Gloomhaven with just standees, and I don't see a reason to think otherwise with this. So, and like you said, these aren't the most magnificent looking minis either. So, I don't see a reason. I think I would roll the dice on not getting them and see if I enjoy the game as much as I think I will without them.
That's also probably the therapy of this show, as well as it's rubbing off on us.
It is. Yes.
I was about to say, we're not Kickstarter reformed yet, but maybe we're miniature junkies reformed. Is that
I wouldn't go that far.
Do we need shirts recovering miniatures junkies? Thanks. Value.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know. I have nothing to add with what you folks have said. I'm 100% on board. I agree with everything you said, Rob, about the comparison with the Gloomhaven. Like, I didn't mind the miniature, the standees in Gloomhaven. And I might be just starting to become, miniatures. You have to throw something very special into the game for me to be immersed with a miniature
big dragon
now.
Right?
Yeah, that thing.
Well, the Junagor dragon, that might that thing was pretty badass.
It's like this big.
Or can't see him, but like I don't want to call him a mini, it's more of a statue, like the Cthulhu statue.
Yeah.
In my head.
But that was like, at least like that quote unquote miniature, like, is like actually the game board for the one scenario. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I guess we can agree that it's no slight on this. This is not excess. It's just, do you need the minis? If you're a person that must have minis, go for it, because it's a decent deal. But my gut's telling me I don't need them for this at the moment.
So I think we've talked enough about the core box with miniatures. Let's take a look at these add-ons. And I think anyone that's been watching this all the way through knows where we lie on that first add-on or that second add-on here.
So yeah. Here, I'll just zoom right there. Metal coins.
I like the idea of the metal coins. The one thing I have to say, though, is from everything I've seen on playthroughs of the game, I don't even know what these coins are used for yet. I did my homework, and I have not seen them in there. So,
let alone 10 different ones.
They go up to 50.
The value once again is there in terms of what you're getting. 110 metal coins for €20, like good value, but is it going to look as nice in the final production? And more importantly, do you need it? I think that when you're starting to look at a lot of these add-ons, it almost gets to the point where if you add it all up, you might just be like, I just need to get the whole thing. Like, it's kind of like me with Madara. I mathed that thing out like 5 different ways. And then finally the cheapest thing was the all-in pledge. It was like, I got everything I wanted. And then it was like, the all-in pledge was like $20 more. I was like, well, that was a waste of time. All in, like just everything.
Yeah. And I think we mentioned it off the top. If they can achieve this level of tint, the difference between the colors on the metal, they good on them. But I haven't seen a game yet be able to pull it off.
These ones actually drew me in quite a bit because I was thinking, like, price point wise, again, for 110 coins, that seems pretty decent. And thinking that they do have like 50, 20, they've got the value on them. They're not outrageous values. They're ones that you use in lots of games. I was thinking, if you don't have metal coins already, that would be getting that many seems like it would be a good thing you could just use in other games as well.
Yeah.
Like swap them in and out.
Sit in a little bag just on the game, on the game shelf, and you just pull them out for whatever game. Yeah, that's not a bad point. You
could almost toss them into Clank very easily.
Oh yeah, these would work. But these would work for Clank. They would work for a lot of different fantasy themed type of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a decent point. If you were to use these multi-purpose, then
I didn't realize that maybe they wouldn't look like that. Apparently I haven't seen a lot of metal coins. So I was like, ooh, those look nice. I want those.
So you have the retail version of Red Rising, if I'm not mistaken.
We do. Yep.
So just take a look at the premium version, and I actually have the retail and the upgrade pack. And while a lot of the colors do look nice, like the blue and the green actually came out fairly well, but the purple and red are really close together. As on the there's like another one that's really close together. Like it's not easy to tell them apart.
Well, because they were trying to achieve a difference between yellow and gold.
Yeah, and it didn't
work on that, and it didn't work.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
metal again,
coins.
Yeah.
Not technically excess because the price is right, but do you need them?
Yeah, I think if there was an excess scale, it'd be like there, like it's
it's just in the middle there,
like leaning, right? Leaning, but not like it hasn't fallen over.
It's what's your personal opinion? What's your personal preference?
Yeah. When you compare like what we're looking at right now versus like some of the other ones we've looked at over the last couple months, like this is way more reined back. Like
value seems to be on par.
Yeah.
Or seems to be good.
The other ones were like puking excess, some of them, right? So this one is just this one's like holding itself back and trying to be, respectable,
Yeah. If you do go the all-in pledge, these are included in the all-in pledge.
Yes.
The Origin storybook. Jason's a fan of storybooks.
I think this is, to be honest, I think this is no brainer. If you're buying, like for the price, it's about $15. It's like what you're going to pay for any hardcover book. Well, not a hardcover book, sorry, like a hardcover comic book. That's about the same price as what you pay for the Oh, why am my book knowledge like failing me? It's not called it's not the trade paperback, but the upgraded paperback version. Yeah. Like the ones that are, just a little, instead of being like, the thin,
kind of like a compendium.
Not the compendium. I'd have to just go find a picture.
Sorry, Jason. It's like out on that one.
All I know is comic books and graphic novels.
I'll have to look it up. It's because it's driving me nuts. So it'll be down below in the video description if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll put it there, or it'll flash on the screen one way or the other. That'll be it.
But they are offering advertising that this is soft cover storybook, and it's not going to be a hardcover.
But it's fair with current market prices. So like, for example, like the better versions of like Harry Potter that you find that are paperbacks, but they're not like the cheap mass market paperbacks.
Yeah.
Like that's around the price that they go for. So I think if you're interested in the world, you want to know more about the story, you're going to spend hours in it, it's a fair price. The Descent books go for about the same cost as do the Arkham Horror books. So it's definitely on market.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about the extra dice?
I always get extra dice. Julie and I don't like sharing dice. She wants her own. I want my own. So €5, $8. It's okay. It's not great. Hey, at least it's not Trunagor. I mean, remember those?
Yeah.
It's a buck a die, I guess, or €1.
Like $50 for 4 dice. I'm probably exaggerating, but that's what I remember.
It was pretty outrageous. You're right. Yeah, it was bad. This one again isn't horrible. Yeah, this one would be about $1.
Yeah, if you don't want to share dice amongst the players.
Yeah,
and especially if you're going to play this with a group, maybe buy an extra set.
Yeah, if I'm Jason and I'm all about my own dice, I get this for sure.
Yeah.
So many
custom symbols
for Alter Quest that people have actually seen pictures and messaged me asking me if I would sell them dice because they can't get any. Yeah. I feel like I could be the guy with the trench coat at like Gen Con and be like, dice?
You need some dice?
I got what you need.
I got what you need. Ultra Quest dice? I got those down here.
Yep. You just walk around Gen Con and they're, hey, that's the dice guy.
Yep.
Perfect.
I like it.
Okay. And then where we hit our shameful excess. I do not see how 1,100 card sleeves are $50, like Canadian, €35. I don't get it.
No, they just look like cheap.
You're just
translucent,
basic.
You, Jason, that are we really going to be shuffling all the cards enough to require a sleeve for every single card? I don't know
see it.
If you would need it.
No,
I don't see it.
Like I've got Descent. I have no intention of sleeving Descent. I will probably end up sleeving the Legends of the Dark and Journeys of the Dark mainly because it's out of print. If the little man decides he wants to play it at a young age, and that would just be because of the practical reason of sleeving it, because those cards have been kicking around for 5-6 years, and they are like, we don't shuffle them. They're pristine. Why do I need to sleeve this game?
Yeah. I'm in the mindset now that I don't sleeve my games unless if it's going to get extremely excessive use. Like I sleeve my card games. Okay. Those I'm using all the time. In games like this, where from what I've gathered from you, we're not really shuffling the cards. There's no point.
No,
absolutely none.
No. So we've caught them. We've caught them on something here.
Yes.
Shame.
Excess.
Shame excess here.
And if you're a person out there that needs to sleeve their cards just because I need to sleeve my cards and keep this in pristine condition, you need to see somebody about that.
Also, don't forget about microplastics. You can look up microplastics. Maybe I'll add a helpful link down in the video description as to why you don't necessarily want to sleeve everything. I went a little sleeve happy for a bit on certain things, but then I kind of reined it in, and the stuff that I've sleeved has been like clearly when I'm like, that's a family game. I want to keep that one for a long time. It's going to get played and messed with. I will sleeve this because it's like only 2 packs of sleeves. But this is, a lot of sleeves.
Excess.
That's a lot of sleeves.
Yeah. That's excess.
Excess.
And I think we did a good conversation on the Sundrop already.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't think we have anyone have anything else to add. Fair price for the Sundrop for what it is, but you got to really kind of want it. And as Robin and Anna-Marie discussed, there's a lot cheaper ways to get a very similar or even superior look on your miniatures.
There is, yep.
Yes.
All right. So I think we've done a very thorough, in-depth coverage of Agemonia. We can take a look at some of those are stretch goals, I think.
This looks like, looks like they're
puzzle unlocks.
Oh yeah, I like the way that campaigns do this. I love the interactions sometimes that how campaigns try to get the players and the pleasures just to interact with the campaign on a regular basis. So this one's like introducing puzzles that you can solve to try to unlock the things. Of course, if you have enough people tackling the puzzles, somebody's going to solve these eventually. Yep. And it looks like they got a few of them already added here. Item cards.
I'm glad other people do it because I don't have time to do that.
Yeah. Large scenario.
And I probably couldn't figure it out. So
I think it's neat because I think there are puzzly aspects in this game. So it's a neat way to do it in the Kickstarter as well. Show some of the puzzles, kind of like a little preview.
So it looks like some tokens and some extra monster minis.
Yeah.
See, that would be a bit strange for me, is if you had the core box and you had your character was a mini and then you had all these standees and then you had some random bad guy be a mini. It would be.
Well, it says miniatures include in the minis pledge, punchboard standees in the core game.
Oh, okay.
So the new monsters getting added, and then depending on your level, they'll add it as a mini or they'll add it as a standee.
There you go. They've thought of everything.
And then the app upgrade. So you've got the app. I really, really like this campaign. This is like my favorite campaign that I've seen in a while, and I really wish it was doing a lot better. I think the timing for this game is just really, really not good. I think this should be like a month from now. I probably would consider canceling this and relaunching it because I think landing right after Iridia just kind of shot them in the foot a little bit because while I see a lot of the differences, I can also tell just looking at this campaign without actually really trying to figure out what's going on, it would be one of those things where I'd be like, oh, are these any different than each other?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at how many backers are at each of the levels. 340 are in all in, 223 are at the core and minis, and then there's 469 at the core box.
And how often have we actually ever seen that? And all of the videos we've done, this is the first time I've seen the core game beating out.
Absolutely. Yep. I was just gonna say that too. I think that's the first time.
Yeah, and a pretty even split on if they are getting the minis. There's not and it's an even split between the all in and then not getting the add-ons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I want them to get up to this next level, the battle arena scenario, and a poster for the main event.
That'll go nice in the game room.
Tonight
like that.
At the pit.
Yeah.
This is.
Oh, it's like an advertisement.
Yeah.
That you would see if you're walking around in the town.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. I like that. Yeah, we could.
This stretch goal adds a new battle scenario to the arena in Runedale, included in the base game. Players can
now I want this
arena round once, battling opponents to try and win stars or even magical prizes. That's a cool add-on.
Yeah.
I like this.
Or a stretch goal.
I like this. Yeah, I want that.
There's a lot to like here. I think this is my favorite campaign. So where are we all at on this? Has the pledge finger been itching? Have you clicked?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's been.
We're we're already pledged on the core level, and just been weighing what we discussed right now on how far I want to go, or do I just want to stay at the core?
I'm itching on the tokens, the coins.
Yeah.
And actually that book, I was intrigued in the book, but the more you've talked about it, Jason, it's making me want to get that book more and more. Because I think the lore sounds interesting, and yeah.
Games have been doing such a much better job of including the lore. I read the lore book for Descent Legends of the Dark. I knew most of it already. I actually bought the Terranoth Genesis campaign setting just because I was interested in the lore. So it's funny when people are like, Terranoth is the most generic fantasy setting ever. And I'm like, really? Have you actually read it? Because it really isn't unlike anything else that's out there. But I love the lore. So right now I was at the $1 level, and the more and more I've been like thinking about this and looking at this. There's also Tabletopia, Tabletop Simulator. I think I'm going to go in for the core box. There's too much that I like with this.
Yeah.
Core box, storybook, and everything else. I'll wait for the pledge manager to the side. I don't think I really need to make the decision now, but I want to support this game. And I like it a little more than Iridia. I still make the site to back Iridia, but just the way you interact with the map and the setup just seems something that's more up my alley. And the companion app, something that I think Iridia is in desperate need of.
Yeah.
And this is like an official companion app being designed by the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like a third party person said, hey, this game needs an app. I'll throw something together for people to use. This is being designed by the guys.
Because it said it had voice acting, and like music and things going on. Like there's a lot in that app for sure.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yep. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm in for the core box.
We're in for sure. Yeah.
I'm in for the core box.
Well,
this is real time junkie behavior you're seeing here, folks.
It's never happened. All of us agreed. We're all in on the campaign, and all our thoughts are pretty much aligned. I think that just goes to show you just how well this campaign is being run. And like I said, if they decide to cancel and they want to relaunch for whatever reason, I'll be there. I'm also hopeful that maybe they'll take this to GameFound for the pledge manager. So even if they're doing right now, they'll get that extra promotion on GameFound and do even better afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Right. I even just saw this gaming rules. Paul Grogan's doing the rules teach, and he's the rules editor. So
cool.
I've usually,
so as we're all pledging, maybe we'll have to do a scenario. There is 4 of us, right?
That's true.
Hey,
that's true.
I am good at Tabletop Simulator now.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for our discussion on Agemonia. So we can shut down the screen share so we can get ourselves nice and big and in your face for our outro here. So I will let our guests tell you where you can find them.
Well, you're not going to find me at Gen Con dealing dice. Ryan from the Card Board Conjecture Podcast. Check our podcasts out. They come out every Wednesday. We have What You've Been Playing Wednesdays, where Jason and Julie and Robin and Anna Marie all contribute with a whole bunch of other great Canadian content creators, just sharing about what they've been playing lately. And then our flagship podcast, Card Board Conjecture, launches every Saturday, sometime during the day. And we can find that on all the podcatchers out there. And our 100th episode is coming up very, very shortly in a couple weeks. And I can't believe it. And we've got something zany, crazy ready for that episode.
Perfect.
Looking forward to it.
Something that we've never done before in 100 episodes, so it's really hard to think of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. And I've been Rob
and Anna Marie
from the Meeple Dungeon. We have Twitter, the Meeple Dungeon, YouTube, Meeple Dungeon, and we have our podcast, the Meeple Dungeon Podcast. 5 episodes out right now. And in the latest one, we actually had the microphones turned the correct way. So you can actually hear us pretty decently. Yeah, so that's gone really well, actually. That's coming along nicely. We'll be recording our 6th episode on Monday, and it will be having Onk in it. So you'll hear all about Onk next week.
I'm looking forward to
it.
Yeah. Arda plays well at 2 players, so I'm eager to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we will be playing 2 players tomorrow and 3 players tomorrow. And so hopefully 4 players before Monday as well. But yeah, excited. But yeah, no, you can find us all those places. And on What You've Been Playing Wednesday with Ryan and Jason and everybody. So yeah.
And on that note, I'd just like to remind everyone to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Also, down below in the video description, you'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So if you'd like to see pictures as to what's arriving, maybe games that have even been discussed now on Kickstarter Excess or Value, take a look on all those feeds. Also, if you want to find some new games, take a look at our link to baltizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link, get 10% off your next purchase. It's a great way to support Dice and Dragons because a portion of that purchase is returned to us. Also down there, you'll be able to find links to all of the great stuff that's going on with the Bridge City Board Gamers and the Meeple Dungeon. Make sure to check them out. Follow them on their social media feeds. You don't want to miss anything that they're doing. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. So one will be a most recent release, which actually may be another Kickstarter Excess or Value because we got some more stuff we want to talk about that just dropped this week. And you'll also find a link to the Kickstarter Excess or Value playlist so you can check out all the stuff that we've been talking about on this specific show. And with that being said, don't forget,
keep playing games.